It's Friday Night Pint and we are live talking about all the big topics, the big news in West Ham United this week. Jim White has come out with his source, David Sullivan, and said that Moyes could stay even if we're relegated. So we're talking about that. Even Karen Brady's come out and backed Moyes as well. And we'll be talking about the Larnaca game and the Conference League and what that means. And we'll touch a little bit on the Villa game, but we've got a big match preview coming up with me and Scott. Ryan's it's his birthday, so he's out. Happy birthday, Ryan, from us all.
Yeah, happy birthday, Ryan.
Nickey's still in Cyprus. Is he? He was in Cyprus when I spoke to him.
No, didn't they? I don't know, because I know he was with Dom and all that, and I think Dom's gone a different way to them. They've flown separate ways home.
This is Nicky we're talking about here. Every time Nicky goes away, something goes wrong.
Well, if you'd seen the vlog,
Dan's been there with him when it has gone wrong.
Yeah, if you see the vlog,
last time, Dan, it was you. It was your fault when you went to Zagreb.
Well, that was shitty COVID. That was awful. But yeah, it all went wrong for Dom. So if you do check out the vlog, if you haven't seen it already, see it after this. Dom had an absolute mare getting there, honestly. And I hate traveling. I absolutely hate it. I'm desperate to go, but I don't envy the journey.
I like being places. I just don't like the bit in between to get in there.
Yeah, exactly. If I could click my finger and be in Larnaca, that'd be beautiful. But yeah, we'll get into the Larnaca stuff and talk about the positivity, as Graham wanted to. We're going to get very positive later on.
Feel negative, Dan. It's Friday.
Oh, we're going to get the
Friday mood down.
That's it. Oh, it's Friday. We're going to have some positives for everyone. But I mean, this might be a positive, depending on whether you like Moyes or not. This could be a positive. So let's get straight into it, lads, and we'll get your opinion on this. I screenshotted the quotes, so I had them here. So Jim White of TalkSport came out and said, I'll read exactly what he said on his morning show. I spoke to your friend and mine this morning at West Ham. We'll call him a source, shall we? We all know who that is. He's good mate Sullivan, most likely. This source tells me that even if West Ham end up going down in the Premier League, the thought process is that Moyes will carry on going into next season. Yeah. I mean, which was a shock to many. A big shock. I don't know what you lads thought about it. I mean, look, I've rambled on a lot of the opening.
Well, I mean,
people are sick of my voice.
We've been saying for weeks, haven't we? Like, he's just, a bad run of results away from getting the sack. So to hear that it was a massive surprise. I've got to admit.
Yeah, I mean, what about you, Scott?
Oh, mate, the thing is, it's like I can't see it being true. At the end of the day, if we were to get relegated, why would you keep Moyes? He's put us in the position that we're in at the moment with his negative tactics. We'd be mad to stick to a manager that takes you down unless you saw something in the results that would make you think, okay, we've been a bit unlucky, or we're seeing something there that could bring us back up. I know when you're looking to come back up and bounce back up, he's
thanks, Paul.
He's one of the type of managers you'll be looking to do that. But I just think that's nonsense, mate. I really do. I think it was a slow day at TalkSport.
No, listen, I believe it. I believe it because we all know Jim White has a close connection to David Sullivan. Jim White has basically said, without saying, it was Sullivan, right? He hasn't said the name David Sullivan, but he's hinted that it was David Sullivan. Now, I don't believe for a second that he would jeopardize his relationship with David Moyes over just making up a complete lie that says he will continue, even if West Ham get relegated. I think there's a lot there's a lot easier lies to do that you could get away with. That one, you can't get away with that one. And it doesn't surprise me. And we'll talk a bit about Karen Brady's comments that I think back it up. And I think it's a disgrace. I think it's an absolute disgrace. I know they like Moyes and that. Me, I was looking at he needs to get sacked regardless. Like if we win the Conference League, I want him sacked. It's just for yeah. Go on, Gray.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, all the talk of Sullivan that, you know, possibly in the next year or two selling up, going down into the Championship. That's going to be a massive financial hit for them. And but you know, why would you stick with the manager that took you down? I mean, look at when we went down under Roda. And, you know, they stuck with him, but you know, and I think they'll do this more. As I say, they'll stick with him. They're just looking for that first little bad run in the Championship, and he'll be gone.
Well, this is the thing, because
So
we've heard
what would be the point of sticking
he
with
done
him?
it. He done the pause. He done the pause. We said about the pause, and he bloody done it. What are we in?
I was
5
rubbing my
minutes
chin.
in?
I was like, I said to you, if I'm rubbing my chin, I'm thinking about it.
We had a chat with Gray before, because he does this thing where he says he's thinking and he pauses, so you think he's finished speaking.
No,
and then you start
it wasn't a
speaking,
chat. You and Scott dug me out off camera again.
and he's done it 5 minutes. What was you going to say?
Go on, carry on. I'm no more pauses. Go on. Your turn. Your turn.
No, I was just going to add the thing is on that is the big story that's come out. It's popped up quite a few times this year, this season, is that they don't see anyone out there that they would get that if Moyes wasn't the manager, the guy that they would get in to deal with this mess is Moyes. And that's probably what they think about the Championship, that they feel like he's the guy that can get us back up again. And I think that's the issue, is they have a lot of faith in David Moyes. But yeah, even everyone in the chat was jumping in. But yeah, so
the thing is, look, you know, I think Dom summed it up a few weeks ago with a fan cam when he turned around and said, you know, he's under Moyes, we've got some great memories. You know, for him personally, he's had the European nights, the European trips away, and David Moyes has bought that. You know, we've still got the European games this season, but I feel Moyes is tarnishing his own record. Yeah. And look, I'm not going to lay all the blame on his feet, because the players haven't stood up and been counted when they need to stand up and be counted. But at the end of the day, Moyes insists on these negative systems, these negative tactics, this sitting off of teams. And you saw it again the other night, you know, last night even. You know, we're sitting deep and we're defending deep and we're not pressing, and there's just nothing about us at the minute. There's nothing there that screams to me that, you know, he's the right guy to stick with. I don't think we're going to go down. I do think we're going to get to at least the semi-final of the Europa Conference League, hopefully go on and win it. But I just can't see. I can't see where we're going under Moyes now.
I think he's got enough. I think he can get us out of it, but he's got to take the shackles off. He's got to allow the players to express themselves, really. Because we've got some very good players, but we're shackling them at the moment.
Yeah, and that's
I think if you took the shackles off, then I think there's enough there more than enough there to get us out of it.
Will he ever take the shackles off? That's the thing, you know. We can hope he takes the shackles off, and if he's not even really doing it against Larnaca, when will he do it? Just want to say happy birthday to Dolbster, who's a regular in the chat.
Dolbster.
Happy birthday, mate. Have a good one. Same, but share a birthday with Ryan, eh? But
and I'm quite sure that his name's Ryan as well.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. There you go. He's in good, very good company then.
Is Ryan a secret? I know he's not 31 though. Is he? Yeah, and I just think that they need to look at the legitimate long-term future and ambitions of this club, and you know, get their head out of the clouds of, okay, you know, we got to a European semi-final last season. Like, again, we've been on this slippery slope for a year now, you know, in the league and form-wise. Yeah, they've given him 200 million quid this season, right? Over 2 windows. And we are awful. So, you know, I don't see how they can look at it and go, yeah, you know, I can see things turning around. You know, what do we do? Give him more money? Is that what the solution is? What's the solution? get rid of all the players that he's just brought in and get new ones in. I don't see what they think the solution is that Moyes can turn it around. I think it's hope, a lot of it.
And the thing is, again, right, we go back to that scenario of you look at the signings of Scamacca and Paqueta. You know, were these players Moyes wanted in? Because he openly admitted he didn't realise. Well, might as well have openly admitted he didn't realise where Paqueta,
sound like the commentator last night.
Yeah, he was doing me head in last night. And then obviously Scamacca's meant to be the forward he's been waiting for, and the forward, the reason we didn't sign a forward in January last year and all that. And he doesn't play him. And you now start to seriously question, one, did he bring these players in? Two, if he didn't bring the players in, what were the actual players that he wanted? And it's like, who is making the decisions on these signings? Are these board signings or are these Moyes signings? And Moyes was the one that turned around and said that he wouldn't be in charge of this club if he didn't have the overall say of the day-to-day running of the football club when it comes to the football team. Now, this is it. So is it his fault? Has he picked up the wrong players? Has he scouted the wrong players himself? And this is the problem. This is where, again, we seem to be, it's like rinse and repeat when it comes to the board and the manager. And it's becoming really frustrating.
But that's the thing, like, at least then, when it was Bilic, he came out and pretty much said in his last season, when it came to Cavalier and all of that, it's out of his hands, and he wants his first choices, but they're not getting them, and then it's third, fourth choice, and he came out and pretty much said what was going on. And I think if Moyes is coming out and saying, I wouldn't be the manager if I don't pick the players, and then he's not picking the players, he's still culpable, because you're going back on your word and you're allowing them to do the same bullshit that is affecting the club. Because if you're allowing them to give players that you don't believe in and you don't fancy and you're still trying to manage, then it's still your problem, at the end of the day. And I know not many managers would walk away from that much money, but if you don't, and you're thinking that you're the man to manage them, and then you can't manage them, well, again, it's still, of course, the board take blame if that's the case, but you have to take blame either way. Nothing absolves him.
No, you are right, mate. It's and that's the thing. He's put himself in a situation now where he can't win. That's how I look at it. If he keeps us up, wins us a trophy, there's still going to be people out there saying he's got to go. If we get relegated and they stick with him, there's people saying we've got to go. He's in that situation. I think Ryan said it to me. Ryan said he can see us staying up, winning the Conference League, and Moyes walking away at the end of the season.
That'd be great. That'd be great. He could walk away with his head held high. And look, the thing is, it's to me, the reason why I would want him to go is, even if he won a trophy, which sounds mad on the surface of it, you think, you want to get rid of a manager who wins a trophy after 40 odd years. The reason why is because I just don't see the long-term sustainability. I don't see us next season under Moyes pushing back up into the top half of the table and then challenging for Europe again. I don't see it. I think he came in, right, and like a lot of new managers, they fixed the problems, the easy problems early. He done what we got. This team was not running. Our running stats were the worst in the league. He fixed that, and he got a few energetic players in. We had a small squad that he was able to work with and get the best out of. And a lot of teams, didn't know how to deal with us. We was lethal on set pieces, scored more set pieces than any other team in the league. And it was effective for a period of time until it wasn't. And now Moyes has tried to change that. He's realised, I can't keep playing this way, this counter-attacking football, relying on set pieces, because teams have figured me out. Man City said I think it was Antonio that said, one of the Man City players said at the start of the season, after the first game, we actually worked out and figured out how you played, and it was a completely different animal playing them. So the fact that he's tried to change it and it's failed, it shows me that he has one way of playing. And if that doesn't work, he can't. So next season, what is he going to do? Is he going to just try and go back to counter attacking? We're going to have to get rid of Paquetas and the Scamacas and players like that, and then go. I just can't see what he can do. I think we need a manager that can suit the players that we have and the way we want to play.
If you're going to play counter attacking football, you need a lot of pace in your side, and we just don't have it.
No, and that's it. Someone mentioned about Cornet, he was a breath of fresh air, but I don't think, we'll talk about a bit more about him when we talk about the Larnaca game. But I can't say that people go, oh, well, he hasn't had Cornet all season. Antonio come out and said that Moyes and West Ham, we've tried to switch to possession-based football. So it's not like Moyes has wanted to play counter-attack and he hasn't had his key man. Even still, one pacey player is not enough to have you play in this counter-attacking football. You need pace all around. So, but he wants to play possession. Yeah.
The thing is, for me, when you're playing possession football, right, you can't be as deep and negative as we are. Right? We where we were saying we're trying to transition into a possession-based side. You need to play higher up the pitch. You need to play in the opposition's half. Because when you watch teams that are possession-based, yes, they move the ball around a lot of their back line, but their attacking players are a lot further up the pitch. They're moving the ball across the back line, close enough to the halfway line. We move the ball across our back line at the edge of our own D, and then slowly get forward and then slowly work our way back. You've got to be higher up the pitch, and you've got to have movement. And a lot of these sides that play this possession football have wingers that will cross the ball. Not all the time going to have wingers that are going to cut in and have a shot. And this is where, look, Antonio, as we said, he has his flaws, but, he does score goals. But he's not the type of striker you have for possession-based football. You can't then just say, well, we were trying to transition into a team. So we signed Scamacca, who's going to roll the ball up, and then our other striker is Antonio. You're not. You've got a counter-attacking striker and a striker that's going to hold the ball up. But then he doesn't bring anyone else into the game. Because we're too far apart. You've got them gaps between the midfielder and the striker have got to shrink. Because you can't expect him to hold the ball up against two centre-halves and not give the ball to anyone.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're not even good at counter-attacking anymore. You look, when we try to counter-attack, we're so slow. We're too slow. Not just slow at our speed and pace on the ball, but we're slow with our passing, our decision-making.
I mean,
you pass it sideways, after time, and then we end up passing it backwards. And
it's when you get sides like City and all that. Look, I'm not comparing us to them at any bit. They're possession-based sides, right? And they move the ball. They move the ball quickly across the back. And what they're doing, their players are moving. They're making runs. Their movement. The midfield players always want the ball, and all they're waiting for is for that 1 second when a defender switches off, and then they play that ball into a dangerous area, and their players are on it. Our players don't move. So you're playing possession-based football, and you're just knocking it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and everyone's waiting for somebody to do something instead of actually, trying to force to do something or making the movement to do something.
Well, and again, this is it. And Free Ahmed says it here, it's the pressing. And this is what so frustrated me. And last night watching the game, and I'm thinking, we can't even press Larnaca. Like, we just stand off players.
What the thing is, you watch City when they play, when they lose the ball, they press as a whole team press to get the ball back. And they're very rarely out of possession for long. Yeah, because they press all over the pitch to get it back.
That's the problem, and I see it yesterday because there was a point where I think it was Antonio up front pressed, but because we didn't press as a team, we weren't able to capitalize when we forced the error because there was no one anywhere near Antonio. Yeah, and that is a big problem, is that we're not doing. And sometimes, even if you look from a counter-attacking standpoint, a lot of the time, I think we're just waiting for the opposition to make a mistake, and then we get the ball and do something rather than forcing it or putting in the tackle.
That's it. What Kent says here, we don't move cohesively. We don't move up as a cohesive unit. And this is the thing: too slow in the passing, too many touches, not quick enough. And that is the thing. That's what you see. And like he says there, look at Brighton. The way Brighton do it. You know, Brighton pulled us to pieces last week.
And that's the thing. People can sit there and say, and I would accept it, you can't expect us to play like Man City with their resources. But you can't tell me that, you know, when you look at Brighton and the way they play, that they're this team. I mean, look, practically, yeah, they're better than us. But, you know, when you look at it on paper and what we're able to spend and what we're able to bring in, why can't we do that? And if Moyes is this great manager, why can't he do what De Zerbi does? You know, he's had to spend.
As a professional, as a top flight professional footballer, if you can't make a simple 5-10 yard pass, what's going on?
Yeah, that still baffles me. You know, even Rice couldn't pass the ball that game. Honestly,
that's the thing, and do you know what? When you look back at that Brighton game, we looked defeated before we even kicked off.
But you know what? I'm going to get the comments right because there could be reason for this, and which I'll get to, right? Which we had, but let's get some comments.
I've started
because we do like we have our interactive section. We don't read comments as much throughout the show, so we have the flow. So we do star some comments, and then we have our sections. Black Country Aaron says, "I'm fuming with those statements. Sooner those clowns have gone, the better." Yeah, honestly, and there's even rumors that Sullivan could stay. So horrible. Jose rumors. We'll talk a bit about that later. Actually, I'll keep that starred because there was rumors about Jose offering Jose making him a flattering offer. So we'll talk about that a bit later. Sullivan out. He's to blame for the shambles at West Ham. Yeah, buck stops at the top. Good old Red 5 says, "What dirt has Moyes got on the chairman, for fuck's sake?" Honestly. Rotten from top to bottom with these clowns in charge. Yeah, a lot of anti-ball sentiment, which is understandable. Moyes is no longer capable of getting fourth gear out of his squad. It will continue to be mundane footy in third gear because the players are not giving him 110%. Even third gear would be nice. Friends, please do me a favour and play devil's advocate. Why would Moyes be the right manager? Why would Moyes be the right choice to continue managing in the Championship? Is it even possible? I mean, he has the capability to get a team promoted, but let's look at the practical. We would lose a lot of players, right? We'd lose a massive amount of players in this team.
So you would probably lose Skabaka, Paqueta, Bowen, Rice, Zuma, Aguerd, Areola. So you'd probably lose. No, maybe not. You'd lose 6.
You would have to completely rebuild the squad.
So that's 6. Then you've got Creswell, who realistically shouldn't be there. Ben Johnson isn't good enough to be there. Ogbonna's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
You know, so that's another 3 that ideally need replacing. Johnson might do all right in the Championship, but the way he defended against Blackburn, I don't think he will. But that's possibly 9 players that you're going to need to look to replace.
Yeah, we won't have enough quality there to get us back up. So we'd have to do a rebuild. And I think the thing is, Big Sam, when we went down, to his credit, he was able to convince Kevin Nolan, right?
Yeah.
Who was way too good at the time for the Championship. That signing got us promoted. Without Kevin Nolan, we don't get promoted.
Yeah.
Have we got that in us? Has Moyes got the pull or the relationship with anyone in the Premier of that quality that convince them in this day and age to drop down and help drag us up? You know, and finance-wise, are we going to be able to sign players that are Premier League level in the Championship that can get us back up and guarantee us promotion? I don't think we will.
It's not just 9. You're gonna. I mean, the games come thick and fast in the Championship, and it's a very high intensity division. It's very difficult to get out of.
Yeah.
So that's just 9. That's just for starters.
Yeah. So it's a question of, Moyes, to me, taking personal feelings out of it, and should he be sacked if we got records? Should, but he might not even be the right man to get us promoted, because you look at it, maybe you want someone who actually knows the division. I don't know. I can't remember where Preston were when he managed them last, if they were in that league, but this changed a lot. And we're going to need to find players that are in the Championship that are ready to take the next step and good enough. I mean, I don't want to think. It feels sick to even think about it.
But the thing is, you look at it, all right, Burnley did it. Burnley did it with Dyche, didn't they? Went down with Dyche, come back up with Dyche. I think, didn't Norwich stick with their manager when they lost? He was with them, they got relegated, then come back up, and then they went back down, and they sacked him just before going back down. So that's probably 2 times that you can look at and say a manager's gone down with the side and then brought the side back up.
Yeah, but look at those sides with no money that don't spend, that are probably expecting to go down once in a while, and their aim is to just stay in the league.
The thing is, in the end, Norwich fans weren't even excited about coming up, because they knew all they were going to do, all the ball probably going to do was pocket the money, go back down. It was when they still had the parachute payments. Burnley, Sean Dyche worked miracles there on a shoestring.
Yeah, getting relegated after spending £200 million. I'm sorry, there's nothing that says that you should be allowed to be the man to try and get the team back up after creating that mess. No 2 ways about it. So it's hard for me to play devil's advocate on that one. I mean, that was the best I could do. The manager is to blame. The players are to blame, but they should stand together and get this crap sorted. We have good players, but they need to show they want the jersey. I can't wait till we get to this next bit when we talk about this story. Kent Hammers, David Moyes has never been promoted from the Championship. He got to the playoff final with Preston over 20 years ago and lost to Sam Allardyce. Top teams in the champ now play football and not kick and rush. Yeah, it's true, because even like a lot of teams, they get relegated, like Norwich and they play great stuff in the Championship, and obviously they get promoted, and because they haven't invested, they're not able to do that in the Prem. And sometimes that's why they go down, because they can't transition from how they were playing to being a team that's not that great but can get enough results at. But yeah, I think that's a good point. Could you imagine us sitting there and we're in the Championship playing like fucking defensive football? Honestly, that'd be a living nightmare. What's the point in Moyes staying? If we stay up, that's meant to be. If we stay up, that's meant to be good enough. If we get relegated and he gets us back up, that's good enough. Not for me. Not after the move and the transfer budget. Yeah, they're nice. Honestly, if we kept him, if we got relegated and kept Moyes, I think I would definitely give up my season ticket. I don't care what people say. That's a disgrace. Garino says Moyes wanted Kostic, Onana, and Brozier, but got Cornet, Paqueta, and Scamacca. Didn't he want Onana in January?
No, I think Onana was.
Oh no! It was in August? Was it summer that he went to Everton? Oh yeah, it was, wasn't he? Yeah, he did go there.
This is the thing, right? Now I get the Onana one, because he doesn't look a bad player. They obviously didn't want to pay the wages that he wanted. Kostic was never going to come to West Ham. He had Champions League football at Frankfurt and had Champions League sides after him. And Brozier, well, what has he done at Chelsea? So now you're sitting there asking the questions. If they were the players Moyes wanted, what's Moyes looking at in a striker? Because let's look at it on paper. Scamacca's a better striker than Brozier.
Yeah.
Paqueta's a better striker than a midfielder than Onana.
Yeah.
And Cornet was Cornet in a way, it's the injury. That's what's done him, is that injury. But he was proven in the Premier League. He had a good season with Burnley, in the Burnley side that went down, but he had a good season. So, were they his first choices and these were his second choices, or this is what you wanted and the board went, no, you're having these instead?
Well, but this is it. Like, the thing is, and I think we tried to get Kostic. I think we did try and get Kostic, and we definitely tried to get Brozier. And
I think
there was definitely
right now. I think Brozier's has got a bad injury.
Yeah, but there was talks with Chelsea, all of that stuff, and I know we tried to get Onana, right? But if we're sitting there and looking at, oh, poor Moyes, he didn't get Kostic, Onana, and Brozier. That's just how it goes as a manager. You're not going to get everyone. You're not always going to get your first choice. You're not going to be able to get players. Like I said, looking at Kostic, who's got Champions League football, and sitting there and complaining that they couldn't get this player over the line. No, Paqueta is a Brazilian international. Scamacca's an Italian international. Like you said, Cornet, Premier League proven, got pace. So I don't see how that lets him off the hook at all.
Yeah. And that's the thing. This is the thing. Is it these players, he didn't know about these players coming in? He must have known about Cornet. I think Cornet was a Moyes signing, personally.
Well, Moyes said that we could have signed Scamacca in January. So he's definitely looked at Scamacca before, because he said we could have signed him in January. So I remember that story, and I'm thinking, you just stop talking, mate. You're just making things worse. So yeah, he's definitely looked at him. Paqueta, he raved about as the next Payet when we signed him, which was hilarious. As we said, nothing like him. So yeah, I think that's just a bit of a easy let off. Paulie Walnuts, why did you stop doing post-match pints? Just wondering. We became homeless. We're homeless.
Yeah, we don't have a venue at the moment.
And that's what we've been trying to sort out for the longest time. Nicky's been working on it. So that's the difficult thing. We were sort of doing it on literally at home. It was on park benches at times when we were doing it on park benches.
Yeah, we were.
Getting moved along.
Any pub that was reasonably quiet in the beer garden, we could.
Yeah, which is pretty much none of them, wouldn't it? We had nightmares with sound and stuff. Yeah, we definitely got to try. It's constantly in our mind, and we're constantly talking about it. So we haven't just abandoned and left it.
It will be back.
Yes, whatever we have to do. Garino, and most frustrating thing with Moyes is his refusal to move away from his favoured formation and trying to tweak the setup to suit players like Haller, Scamacca, Vlasic, Paqueta. Does he try and tweak to suit those players?
No, that's
his refusal to move away from and try. Yeah. His refusal to do that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't. He doesn't tweak the system to try and suit the better players, which is in a way what you do. You have your. He had his way of setting up, which worked last year, right? Then, if you're then going right, well, these are the players that I see taking us forward. Your Paquetas, your Scamacas. These. So now, right, what we've got to do is play. We've got to learn to play that suits them. Right. So this is our backup system. We're going to play the counter-attacking football, but right for the first few games, we're going to put it out there. We're going to try and play. We're going to try and play that suits the stronger, better players. Right. Yeah. So you change the system. If it doesn't work, you've then got the fallback that you can go back to. Right. It ain't worked. We need to play a bit of counter-attacking football, and in training, we'll work differently to try and evolve into playing with these better players.
Yeah.
We've not done that. We haven't tried to evolve, and now we can't play counter-attacking football. We can't even take a set piece. Let's be honest.
How have we gotten so bad at that? Yeah. How have we? That is the biggest regression I've ever seen.
And that's like I said to you, when you're sitting down with me, we get a corner. People are like, yes, come on. It's just like, we got a corner. We ain't going to score.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, there was a point, right, where it was like, remember when Pint used to get free kicks and you would celebrate like they were penalties? That got to the point where I was like that with corners. I got excited, right? This season, nothing. No, it just go, yeah, we're not going to beat the first man, or we're going to overhit it. There's no chance of a goal here. I think we scored one all season.
Yeah, and that was one that luckily got to the back post and Paqueta tapped it in.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember this, by the way, Mr. C, with the rat emojis when we did post-match pint in the fucking park, and there was that rat going past, and Nicky went like that on me, and he was like, Nicky got all scared, which made me all nervous. A rat went past, and Scott was just like, "Oh, this is like busman's holiday." This.
This goes, I'll do this. This is what I do. This is what I do.
You remember
Yeah.
that was down by the river where the pathways are near the stadium.
Yeah. So that was it. So yeah, we ain't trying to do no post-match pints with rats anymore. They're not welcome on the show. So we just got a few super chats, a couple comments, and then we're going to get onto this. This was really juicy, this story, and this might shed some light on some of the issues. So LFC, My Religion, 199 super chat. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Nice.
Thank you, LFC, My Religion.
7-0 battering of Man United was very enjoyable to watch. Very humbling for them. So yeah, it says those eyebrows are phenomenal. I can't talk now. Phenomenal. Well played, sir. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, we know who he's talking to.
I had a little trim up yesterday.
I was looking at him, when he said that, I was just looking at him. They look different.
Yeah, I had a little trim up. Tidied him up. I was starting to look like Brezhnev, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, well, you had a lot of compliments in the chat, and maybe that's probably.
Yeah, no, I had a little proper little trim. I thought, no, I'm going to treat myself, and I had a proper little trim up.
You should try and just take a little bit off the top, right, just to see what you'd look like. You owe us some eyebrow threading. Remember, you're supposed to get him threaded years ago.
Yeah, that hurts,
like 25k, wasn't it? Was it 25k subscribers?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Dan, all my authority and power comes from my eyebrows.
He's like Samson, but with his eyebrows. Yeah. So Steve WHU Bell, good old Steve, 499 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Says, can you boys think of a worse performance in your time of following West Ham than Saturday? I'm trying and struggling. Honestly, I said it.
Oldham away in the League Cup semi-final, 1990, 6-0.
No, but the thing is, great, and I look at it, and I've said, we've seen us ship more goals, right? We've seen us have games against Man Cities and Liverpools and get dominated, right? We still had moments in the game. We still had a period where it looked like we could do something. That game, there weren't a minute that you could give us and say that 1 minute we were the better side. That 1 minute we looked like we could do something. The whole game, we were not just second best, we were third best in a fucking 2-2 race. We were terrible. It was that bad. It was really depressing to watch, and it was against Brighton. It weren't even against the Man Cities.
There's some
forget Stockport away.
There's Forest 5-0, Reading 6-0.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I saw us play better football under Avram Grant than I saw on Saturday against Brighton.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Over the years, I've seen some absolutely shocking games over the years. Yeah, the team 4-1 away, Millwall.
Yeah, but at least we scored.
Yeah.
But we lost 4-1 to our local rivals.
No, I know, but I think in terms of performances, not games, not results, not performances, to me, like you said, great, we couldn't make simple 5-yard passes. None of the play. We couldn't pass the football. Couldn't do basic things.
Yeah, Nick's just said Stockport away.
Yeah, I said it in the pee and down the rain. Ian Dow, we bullet headed down the wrong end of the pitch.
There you go. I mean, yeah, it's up there anyway. It's up there.
I mean, we've lost to Wrexham when it was Division 3, which was the 4th division. Yeah, Swansea when they were in the 4th division. We lost cup replays.
Battered by Grimsby. Was it 3-0?
Yeah, Grimsby 3-0 away. I was at the first game, the 1-1.
Yeah,
that was bad enough, and then we go and get stuffed 3-0 at Grimsby.
Yeah.
There's been
I remember 93.
Yeah,
93.
And
we lost 1-0 away to Southend as well.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, Scott, Oxford was bad, but we still had moments in the game. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
objectively, we come away thinking we've just lost. We've got battered by Oxford, but it's not worth, because there were still times where you were like, oh, okay, we're gonna score. No, shit. there was none of that in there. There weren't a single moment, that I can look at. That's why to me.
See us lose 4-1 away to Barnsley in the cup.
All right, you're making us depressed now, Graham.
Was there?
Burnley away with Roberto.
Yeah, Burnley away.
That
almost brought Nicky to tears, that one.
Yeah. But then that's the thing, though, isn't it? That you can look at that and go, "Oh, individual error," and
yeah.
The whole team was shit.
Yeah,
Brighton. Man, didn't you be in your channel journey as a guest on PMP? No, I actually started filming it because I looked at it and it was making me angry because the camera was like there was this much headroom and everyone was down here like this, and I was like, I've got to fix it. And it was like filmed on a potato. So I messaged Nicky. And he was actually pissing off to Florida for 2 weeks at the time. So he was like, "Oh yeah, come, please, come meet up."
Yeah.
And I met him in the pissing down rain after Wolves in the cup when what was it? Scored. We had Jelavic. Wasn't that Jelavic scored?
Yeah, 1-0.
His only goal for us, wasn't it, or something?
Now you're part of the furniture, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'll never forget that day. And I'm ringing him and he's not answering. I just bump into him on the road and piss him down. But yeah, I think that might have been Jelovic's only game that he scored, wasn't it? I don't remember many other goals.
I think you could be right.
I remember getting kind of excited about that because all Everton fans were telling us how great he was, Jelovic. Weren't to be. But yeah, everyone's reminiscing on awful games. Nicky's missed 2 flights, has he, on the way back? Oh, that's a...
Do you know what? If anyone else had said that, I'd be like, oh, what a shit. But it's Nicky, so I'm not surprised.
It's probably his fault. Let me check it because, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm never traveling with Dom ever again, honestly.
No. I saw, like you said, watch Dom's vlog after this. And then see what they had to do to get where they had to go. It's never travel with Dom and don't travel with Nicky either.
No, and if you can avoid the pair of them.
And if you're on a night out with Nicky, don't stay next to him because if something's going to happen, it'll happen. And you don't want to be next to him when it happens.
Yeah, he flew with someone called Wizz Air. I've never fucking heard of Wizz Air.
Wizz Air are awful.
Yeah,
always cancelling flights.
I've with them once, I think. Yeah, they're not great.
You're just better off paying a bit of extra money. I know it's money, it's scarce and that, but for the sake of the hassle, fucking hell. Honestly, so let me look. This story came out was quite enlightening from our very good friend Jacob Steinberg of The Guardian, good old pal, come out and wrote this article. And to be fair to him, he's quite connected to the club. Says apparently some of the players have grown weary of David Moyes' caution towards games and feel it is holding them back. There is an increasing lack of faith in the Scots' favoured approach, and the players feel it doesn't give them a chance of winning. Which is very...
Yeah. That then takes us back to the fact that when we walked out in that game at Brighton, we didn't look like we were going to win. And I said this at the time, when you watch us come out, so they have a tunnel cam, don't they? So you see the players coming out at half time. There wasn't one player in the starting 11 trying to G anyone up. Right? The only person that was sort of doing it was Zuma, and that was because he was walking back in from the warm-up. And everyone else was walking out towards him, and he sees tapping the boys, trying to get, but not one player is in there trying to G the players up when they're walking out or anything like that. And that just sums it up for me that I feel that they have lost it. And then you see Rice, he's having a conversation with Moyes on the sideline, drops his water bottle, shakes his head.
Yeah,
Scott. The thing is, as a football, no matter what level you play at, like when we played together, we played in plenty of games where we basically had to defend for 90% of the game.
Yeah.
It's no fun. It's no fun defending all the time. You want to be on the ball. As a footballer, you want to be on the ball and making things happen. You don't want to be stuck in your own half for 75% of the game and digging in.
Yeah, and that's it. Especially when you look at the quality of team that we've got, and I'm sure a lot of them, the players there, and Rice thinks we're better than this. You know, we should be able to play. Why do we have to go out to every team and focus on? And Stuart Pearce came out and said it himself that Moyes focuses first and foremost. Don't lose the game. Focus on nullifying them. And now the players, I think, are growing weary of it because they're looking like, well, we're playing like this and not winning. You can justify it if it's getting results, right?
Yeah.
You could
if you're 1-0 against the big boys, you could, hold your hands up and say, well, it's working.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So the players would then go, do you know what? It's not enjoyable, but great, we're getting results. Look, we're closing in on Europe. We got a chance to play in Europe again, and they can buy into it. You can't buy into it when it's not working, but you'll keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I think that's been a massive issue with the players. Like you said, Graham, not only is it not enjoyable, but they just don't believe it's the right way to go about things. So that makes perfect sense. I see it even at the little videos before the Larnaca game, right? When they're going out onto the pitch, like, and they're having a look and they're telling, they look like they was going to a funeral. And that's, for them, they're in Europe. It was just the only one who looked sort of happy was Cornet, and I suppose that's because he's going to be back, fit and everything. He's just happy to be there, and he hasn't actually been playing in this shit.
Dan's face probably tickled me there.
What did I do?
That's the thing, though, because if you're putting out a negative attitude all the time, then you're going to attract negativity, and then negativity is going to creep into the minds of every single player. Look, I get the philosophy of not losing the game, and look, we're going to make it, try not to concede, but at the end of the day, you've still got to have something about you going forward.
Yeah,
and that's not what we've got at the moment. When you look at when we sat defensively against sides like City and things like that, take the last game of last season, we sat back. But when we had the opportunities, we had a pop at City. We got forward. Antonio had a good game. We ended up drawing the game. I think it was 2-2, weren't it?
2-2, yeah.
But we nullified them, but offered something in attack.
Yeah.
Against Brighton, we didn't nullify them. We didn't offer nothing in attack. And that then, for us fans, is frustrating. But like you said, it's got to be frustrating for the players because you've got to have the mixture of the two. You can't just sit there. We're going away to Brighton. We're fighting relegation. We need to pick up points. We can't go, right, let's not get beat. You can't have that attitude. You've got to have that attitude. Look, we lose. We need points. Let's go get a goal. If we concede a goal, let's go get one. Let's go. And we didn't. We conceded, and then it got to a stage 2-0 down, and we looked like, right, let's try and not concede another one.
Yeah, that's what drives me mad is we go behind, and you look at other teams, right? When they go behind, they go, shit, we've got to go and score now. We lose this game, and they go for it, right? We don't do that. Moyes, right? We went 1-0 down to the penalty. Moyes took off Ben Rama and brought off Fornals. Moyes said the reason that he did that is he felt Fornals would give us more support defensively. So you've taken off our most creative player when we're 1-0 down to bring on someone to help the defense. And what happened when we brought Fornals on? We conceded 3 goals. I'm not saying it's Fornals' fault, but the game plan there was massively flawed because you've gone more defensive, yet we've conceded more goals. We didn't concede any goals from open play when we had Ben Rama on. We conceded a rash, stupid penalty. It shouldn't. We would have gone in 1-0.
And also, you look at the United game in the week in the cup. Yeah, we had a go at United. Went 1-0 up, but we had a go, and it weren't until the last 15-20 minutes when we imploded. We didn't. They didn't score 3 goals. We gave them 3 goals.
Yeah,
right. But when we had a go, I think what was it? The first 15-20, we were way off the pace. Then we had a go at them. We got our goal, and we looked. We should have scored more. Yeah. And then we self-destruct. So, for me, looking back at that game, look at the 3 goals we conceded, you're right. goalkeeper and centre half, not communication. Poor defending. I'm trying to remember. The third one was a bad touch by Guerd. The second one was poor defending. So you look back at him, right, lads. Well, let's be positive. We put them to the sword. We got 1-0 up. We made mistakes. Let's take that same attitude against Brighton, who are not as good as Manchester United.
But
let's put them to the sword a bit.
And I said this before. I can't remember if I done the preview with you and I said it, but I said before going into it that the thing what makes me, I said before that I think that we might play a bit more positively is because there's no real pressure or intention on winning this FA Cup, right? There's a bit of pressure with the Conference League because we're one of the favourites. With the league, there's pressure there. With this, he can't play for a draw. It's win or lose. So he was able to just let them go for it a bit more because, if we lost, it wouldn't make any difference, wouldn't put a single bit of pressure on him. No one was saying if we lose this Man United game, Moyes gets sacked. If we don't go through to the FA Cup, we never had any feeling like we could win the whole thing anyway. So I feel like, and that was my feeling going into it. And we did play a little bit more. So I think that's what it was, and why we did that. And then with the Brighton game, he goes back to his usual ways is because, we need to, try and get a point here. We need to try and, just do enough to stay up. And that's it. He'd gone back to cautious mode, fearful Moyes.
Cautious mode that we concede 4 goals.
Yeah.
Have a go. You have a go and concede 4 goals. You get to sit back and say, well, at least we had a go.
Yeah.
And our big issue this season has been lack of goals, scoring goals, right? And he's not doing anything to address that. And this is the thing, it's a fact. If you don't score, you don't win. You can't win a game without scoring a goal. Obvious statement to make. But that's not his first priority. His priority is don't concede goals, right? So you don't concede goals. Well, the best you can hope for a point.
Not really working out for us at the minute, is it?
No, exactly. And Everton are having that problem as well. They can't score goals. And if you're down there in a relegation battle and you're losing here, you're getting a point there. There are teams around you that may lose a couple on the bounce, 3 on the bounce, or draw 1, but can get that win, and then it pushes them up.
I'd rather throw caution to the wind than go and lose a game 4-3 than meekly surrender like we did against Brighton.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them fans went through hell to get there because there was train cancellations and all that crap in the freezing cold. And that's what they get served up with. It's poor, and the players are obviously getting frustrated with it. And it's easy to look and say, players, they get paid a lot of money. They should, they should give everything. It's a psychological thing, football, right? It's a mentality issue, and when there's a dark cloud there, it's really hard, and people will find it a lot of the time with jobs when work's going really bad and you're just in a rut, and it's really hard to get that motivation. It's really hard to play to your best because you have doubts about the direction that you're being asked to go in, and you're just not enjoying it, and that's the problem. The players ain't enjoying it, and they don't believe in what the manager's trying to do, and that's the recipe for disaster.
Exactly, mate. Exactly, and that's it. And this is the thing at the moment with it just doesn't. Apart from the Conference League, it just looks so bleak. And let's be honest, it's like me and Graham said. We want some positivity. We don't want everything around this football club to be negative because we had far too long of negative. It was nice the past 2 seasons. It's all been positive, and now we're slipping back into that negative vibe. And
I don't like being miserable and grumpy.
No, we just need.
I'm older than you, so I don't want to be a grumpy old man.
I just want one game to come out of it and be buzzing. Like there's not one game after it I've been absolutely buzzing. You come at the ground, you're like, yes, come on. Like, do you know what I mean? There's games we've won and you're like relieved and you're like, oh, great, we won it. But nothing you come out and go, oh my God, that is amazing. You know, like Spurs, for example, we beat Spurs, and you're like, yeah, like, or anything. Or you win a game you're not expected to, or you really batter a team. Even though we put 4 past Forest, you know, I was happy because I saw 4 goals. I was like, wow, but you never felt really buzzing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want that turn to come. So hopefully, look, we'll feel that if we win the Conference League. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Although, yeah, so I did start a couple of comments. I thought I started more. But Bra Record said, solution is rebuild, Dan. Loads leaving at the end of the season. Don't trust the man to rebuild. It's who rebuild. Because we're going to have a lot of players, you know, aging out or just moving on. You know, Lanzini's probably going to go.
We've got one of the oldest squads in the Premier League, so it's going to need a massive overhaul. Even if we stay up,
Red Bull model,
think, you know, yeah, it's going to need a massive rebuild, a lot of money.
Yeah, but after we've spent £200 million, you know what I mean? And then if we're looking at, you know, Scamacca's face don't fit, so we have to move him on and take a loss on him, and this is the thing as well. What I was going to say on the end of that, right? If the players are feeling this way about Moyes and Sullivan chooses to keep him, how many of them players are going to want to stay and play under the bloke? Do you know what I mean? And think, fuck, another season of that, I can't have it. I can't be doing that. You know what I mean? We know Rice is really good. You know, I think if Moyes stays, like, there's 0 chance of him staying. So he'll go, you know, Paquetas, Scamacca's, some of the other players. They think, fuck, I've got to play this shit football again for another season under this miserable bastard. No thanks. So yeah, we have to rebuild, and this is why it's key for me.
Look at me when you said that, Dan. You look down on the screen. Why you look at me when you said miserable bastard?
I do want Moyes to turn it around. I want Moyes to keep us up. I want Moyes to win us the Europa Conference League, because them 2 last seasons, do you know what I mean? They're some of the best memories that we've had for a while following our club. You know, the nights when we played Seville and Lyon at home, and you know, the guys who went out to the away games, you know, they've got their memories, and I want him to turn it around. I want him to succeed and win us a trophy. But
yeah, of course, because if he succeeds, we can. And I feel the same. Look, you know, and I don't like Moyes, but I love West Ham, and right now, as he's the manager, like, I want us to beat Villa. I want us to smash Villa. I want us to then, you know, beat Larnaca again, and then win the next game and the next game. That's what I want. But this is the problem: is I don't see it.
Yeah. You know, I'm with you. I'm with you as well, mate. I don't see where we're going, but like I said, I hope you do. I hope he turns it around.
I don't think he's going to change his style of play at this late stage of the season. So we're just going to have to grin and bear it till the end of the season and hope that it's enough to keep us up.
Fucking hell. Darren Smith here says, yes, should not be asking Moyes to be sacked, but who on earth can take over as manager? Well, this is the thing, right? If we're talking end of season, there's a multitude of options, loads of options out there, loads of choices. And I always point back to De Zerbi, right? Because so many people, they go around the same names, right? Oh, Poch won't come, or, you know, there's Big Sam. It's just always these same names that everyone's aware of. There's so many managers out there that we aren't aware of that are good managers. That if you have the right plan, you've got Nobes in as director of football, you've got a vision for, okay, this manager, this is how he plays. These are the players we've got. If we bring him in, we bring in some other players that fits in. We can talk to him and see what his vision is. And there's just a plan there. And because Brighton is such a well-run football club, it was so easy for them to just instantly go from Potter and transition to De Zerbi because of how they run as a club. So I'm not set on, it has to be this man.
It's like they have someone in mind before they even contemplate sacking a manager, if you know what I mean. It's like they've already got. It's like they had Potter's replacement before there was any talk of Potter ever leaving. they knew what they knew who they wanted. They knew who they were going to go for.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is it. I look at managers like, obviously, someone's asked about Carrick, yeah, Carrick. Would be that's if we look at a young up and coming manager, maybe that could be take a punt on him. Obviously, he come out and said it was a bog standard response. I'm happy here. West Ham, I came through as a youngster. I wish them all the best. I wish Moyes the best, but I'm happy at Middlesbrough. It was a stock answer that he gave when asked about the West Ham job. So I don't.
So the thing is that I think he's still a very young manager. I think he needs to maybe have. I think a lot of managers. I think Lampard, he should have stayed at Derby and had a few seasons there, learn the trade. Don't just jump into the big job straight away. It's like going into any job. You've got to learn the job. Got to learn your trade.
And this is what I was saying. This is what I was saying before when I got criticised for sitting there and saying with Will Still, let these people earn their stripes. Let them get a bloody nose now and again and see how they react from it. Don't just instantly, because someone's unbeaten in 16 games, think he's going to be the answer. He could be the answer, but let him earn his stripes.
What do you think about Arteta? What do you think about Arteta? What do you think of Arteta then?
But with Arteta, you've got to look at who he was beside. Do you know what I mean? He's learned off some really, really good managers, and he was number 2 to one of the best managers around. A lot like Mourinho. Remember Mourinho was number 2 to Bobby Robson. Wasn't Poch number 2 to Mourinho at one point?
Yeah, I think he might.
I think he was. Yeah, I think.
But obviously, Carrick's been on coaching staff. He was embedded at Man United. He took over as interim, done a good job. They probably should have kept him instead of getting Ralph Rangnick in. Obviously, Company, played under Pep. I get what you're saying. It's just one of those things to me. Rather than get someone like Rafa Benitez, I would rather take a punt on a young, exciting manager than to get these tired old names. If we can't get someone that you look at and say, yeah, he's good and he's experienced. Do you know what I mean? But there's lots of managers out there in Europe doing good stuff. Look at, Ten Hag coming in. I'm not saying we could get Ten Hag, but I'm just saying for Man United, it was a risk for them. And he's doing really well.
It's one of those where you've got to look at what the players that you've got and then trying to find a manager that suits the players that you've got within the club. That's the thing for me. I don't think Benitez is the answer. He didn't do anything. He didn't pull up trees at Everton, didn't do anything at Newcastle. I think he's another name that gets floated about that we sort of need to move on from. There's rumours out there that Mourinho would want to take the job if he was offered it at the end of the season. Is he the answer? We don't know. The thing with Ten Hag, what he's done at United, he's got rid of the egos.
Yeah.
He just come in and said, look, this is how I'm doing stuff. If you don't like it, get lost. But
that's you need to be a certain. You have to have a certain stature about you to be able to do that, and I don't think any manager can do that. But you know what? It was very interesting. Was asked this interesting question on Mohamed Saeed's channel for the Man United preview, and he asked me. He said, "What do you think about the state of British managers today?" We're talking about new managers, and I thought about it, and you think, really and truly, it is absolutely outrageous that an English manager has never won the English Premier League. And I think when I look at it, you don't pick managers by nationality, but it does put me off when I see the track record of British managers in this league. When you see it, and Eddie Howe's doing really good, and I hope he can keep it up and push Newcastle. But in terms of success, if I'm looking at managers for the future, seeing the track record of British managers, it puts me off. And I think it's outrageous that managers from other countries never played in this league, didn't come up in this league, not coached in this league, can come in and they're more successful than the British managers.
But I think what you got to look at, you look at Sir Alex at United. He had that massive massive run of titles, and they dominated English football for a long period of time. I think it was Doug Leash who broke it with Blackburn that time. And then you started. I think it was football evolved. I think what was it after Blackburn won it, United won it again, and then Wenger moved into Arsenal, and he changed the style of football.
Well, it wasn't just the style of football; it was the attitude
as well.
and stuff like that. It was, and everyone's following that.
And now I think what
English managers didn't involve with it. Yeah.
You've then got to look at now the Wenger come in at Arsenal. Things started to change. He brought a different way of playing, a different attitude towards training and things like that. And now you're seeing English managers and British managers following that model. Football evolves. It's just the fact that the way the Premier League's evolved suits foreign managers more than what it suits British managers.
But this is it. The British managers have to evolve because you look
and the thing is, Dan, what you're saying, when you look at a lot of the British managers over the last 10 years, it's been that manager merry-go-round.
Yeah, exactly.
Your Warnocks, your Allardyces, your
Pulises.
Moyes, it's been that them managers have always got them jobs, because normally when a club changes manager, it's because they're in a relegation dogfight, and it's Sam Allardyce can get us out of it, and that's what you've sort of had. Now teams are trying to evolve, so you've got the Brighton and bringing in unknown managers, managers who are doing well, managers who suit the style of the club, and it's refreshing to see. It's just you've got to find a manager that suits what your playing squad has got.
Yeah, and I just think because I looked at it and I thought there was always been an argument about, and British managers come out and said this, we don't get the opportunities at the top jobs. And to a degree, there is a hint of that. But when they have, when you look at David Moyes at Man United, when you look at Lampard at Chelsea, even Potter now is struggling, they're not able to succeed there. So I think there's a big problem. It does put me off, I have to say.
The thing is with Moyes at United, that was a poison chalice. He was never going to succeed at United.
But the problem is, Scott, when you look at it, and I think it's to a degree, there is a degree of that, and I do agree to a level, but he didn't help himself. And you talk to Man United fans of the things that he did. He came in and he tried to change too much too quickly. He tried to put his stamp. Yeah. He cleared out a load of players from the Fergie era, brought in other players like Fellaini, and made all these other signings.
Well, Fellaini was the only player he brought in.
That's the thing. Oh no, they weren't that he brought in. It was that he turned down loads of players. That was the problem. That it was recently. I was having this conversation. Is that there was options? Didn't fancy this one. Didn't fancy this one. Didn't fancy this one. But alienated a lot of other players and came in sort of throwing his weight around, and a lot of the existing players were a bit, put their nose out. So I think he has to take a big responsibility for the failure, but it's a hard shoot. It is hard shoes to fill, for sure.
And the thing is, the season Fergie left, that was probably the worst Man United side to win the Premier League.
Yeah, but it just shows how good he was.
Yeah, the thing is though, Dan, you're saying he's come in and put noses out of joint. At the end of the day, he is now the manager, so he can run that team.
And when you look at
again, not just him, any club. They might go, you get a new manager in any club, and the players don't like the manager. Well, he's the manager, so you just have to deal with it and do your job that you're paid to do.
Yeah, you can say that on and that might be true on paper, but again, if you're not, we talked about Ten Hag, he's got that gravitas. A Pep Guardiola's got that gravitas to come in. You know what he's done before. You know this man has won trophies, and he's coming in telling you this is how it's going to be. You listen because you respect him. They're looking at Moyes. Where's he been? Preston and Everton.
But the thing is, Dan, he's been hired by the club. The club has seen fit.
But at the end of the day,
so the players then have to, he's their manager. I can't stop doing my job because I don't like the manager.
No, but the thing is, Graham,
it doesn't matter who the manager is. You're paid to play football. You can't just start throwing your toys out of train because you don't like the manager.
Yeah, but you're living in an ideal world there, Graham. And we don't live in an ideal world. And that's why.
Let's be honest, footballers are a completely different breed to anything else. And that's how you got to look at it.
A job though. They're under a contract.
Of course they are. They're paid to do a job, Gray. But football's the only sport where you can play absolutely dog shit, still get your wages paid to you. Your manager gets the boot, and then you get a new manager in who likes you a bit better. So you up your performances, you get more money. Let's be honest. Football's the only sport one of the only sports where you can get relegated, play bad all year, get relegated, and then get a big money move somewhere else.
Yeah. This is the thing. We can talk about ideal worlds. We can talk about, how players should behave and this, that, and the other. But it's the same in any job. Any job, you look at, you have to work, but you come in and you get a manager, right, in your job that's an arsehole that you don't like. You know what I mean? You're obviously still going to do your job. You're not going to do anything to get you sacked. But you're not going to fucking put yourself out for the bloke. You're going to run through brick walls for him.
And that's it.
Because he's an arsehole.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
You do what you need to do your job. You don't do any extras.
Yeah, put yourself in any situation. If your job
in any job you do, it's about having a bit of pride in your work.
No, but you can have
pride in your work, but without going above and beyond for the manager that you don't like.
And if they're asking you to do things that, again, you work for you've been in your company for years now. New manager comes into your company, right? Who's been working somewhere else and says, this is how it's going to be. Don't care what you did before. This is how I'm going to do things. You know what I mean? Comes in like an arsehole, like the big I am. You're like, who's this guy think he is? People start to turn and start to get demotivated.
I've known about it to my colleagues, but still do my job.
Yeah, but they didn't not do their job, did they? You can't say the Man United fans didn't do their job.
Ain't playing for the manager. That's not doing your job, is it?
Well, they're playing football. They're going out there and they're passing the ball, kicking the ball. But at the end of the day,
pundits say, "Well, he's lost the dressing room," and then they're not playing for the manager
because they're playing, but
they're not playing for the manager. They're not doing their job, are they?
Yeah, but you play for the football club. You don't play for the manager.
Yeah,
the football club pay your wages, not the manager. And that's what I said. It's football's completely different thing.
Graham, you literally just talked about this with Moyes, and you was saying the opposite thing with the players and Moyes.
I'm saying not just what I'm saying about any manager. I've always said this. You might not like the people you work for, but you still do your job.
Yeah, that's it. So the players do their job. They just don't.
Anything I've never said before.
No, they're just not doing their job to the best of their ability.
And you're gonna go and be above and beyond. Are you gonna stay late after work for this geezer because he wants you to? You know what I mean? Are you going to run through brick walls for him? Are you going to go that extra mile? That's why good managers, motivate. You know, that's why as a coach, Eddie Howe is a good coach because he connects to the players. He gets the best out of them. Look at what he did with Joe Linton. Longstaff was languishing.
And the problem is you've got players earning way more than the managers who are supposed to be in charge of them.
Well, but that's a completely different thing, you know. It's like Dan said. It's finding the right.
You think I'm wrong? I think
no. No one's saying you're wrong.
No one's saying what I'm saying here. No one's saying what I'm saying.
No. So I just think you're living in an ideal world, Graham. You're being an idealist, right? That's an ideal. Yes, what you're saying, I see it. I completely see. On play, you should do your job to the best of it. You're a man. You're paid a lot of money. So, whatever the manager is, you should play to the best of your ability, right? That's true. I'm not taking that away from you, Greg. But there's so many subtle elements about it, right? So many grey areas that you fall in of, you know, when it comes to personalities, when it comes to, I'm a player. I've been at this football club and I've been successful at this football club for years. I've won trophies at this football club. And you're coming and saying, well, everything that we've done that's worked so well, that's out the window. We're going to do things how you do it. Whether you intentionally, there's something in the back of your mind. It's management and leadership it's a very tricky job. That's why not everyone can do it, because you have to be good at it. You have to be able to motivate people. You have to be able to lead and have people come with you.
The thing is, Dan, I think my last job before the one I got laid off from a couple of years ago, the one me and Nick used to work for, didn't particularly like the bosses. But I don't have it in me to just half-ass the job. I still did it to the best of my ability. every day because it's all about having a bit of pride in your work.
Yeah, but if
I made a mistake, it costs the firm a lot of money.
But do you know what? Do you know what I'm saying about leadership and management? That why they're paid so much money is, okay. You can hope that everyone sits there and has pride in their work. You don't have to manage them and you don't have to lead them. But then you wouldn't need managers. You wouldn't need leaders because everyone could just manage themselves. Like it's a skill. You have to be a good leader, Gray.
Yeah, all the bosses I've had at my work, right now, bearing in mind I've been there 17 years, the bosses I had at my work are bosses that you would run through walls for. You know, they treat you well, you look after them, you work twice as hard. When a manager comes in who doesn't earn that respect or gain that respect, or then tries to tell you how to do something you've done for the length of time you're going to do, you're not going to work as hard as you would for the people that respect what you do. And that's the difference. You know, someone coming in, giving it the big I am and thinks they know better, and I've done this job for longer than they've probably been out of school, something like that, I'm not going to respect them because they've not earned my respect.
Yeah, but
so that's why it didn't work. That's why it didn't work with Moyes at United. That's what we're getting at. That's why it didn't work there because
I know, but I'm saying it also comes down to having a bit of pride in your work, whether you like the manager or not. Do the job done best of your ability.
But I've always had pride in my work, even though some of my work is quite shitty. I've always had pride in my work, the pride that I do.
But you still do it to the best of your ability. Yeah, but that's because you have pride in your work and you want to do it to the best of your ability every single day, regardless if you like your manager or not.
Yeah, but I'd still do my work to the best of my ability, but I wouldn't go above and beyond to try and make that manager look good.
And that's what you need in football.
You've done the bare minimum and your club got relegated and then your money's reduced.
But as I said in football, that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you can be crap at your job. Your club gets relegated. You then go and get a £2-3 million signing on bonus leaving the football club because there's no loyalty there. So at the end of the day, the players don't care. They're getting paid.
Yeah, that's the trouble. They don't care. They know they're getting paid. There's no pride in.
Think about this, Graham, right? And everyone in the chat, if in all your years of working, right? If you've had someone you've worked for that's a good manager or a good boss, right? And made you feel good, and you come in, you love work for it, you love the bloke, and just arseholes, right? And shit managers, the ones you thought he don't know what he's doing. I know more than him. Think about how that affected you and how you performed in that job. Managers, and that's why they're managers, that's why they're leaders, have an effect on how the people under them perform. It's their job. That's what you have performance targets. Performance targets are there for the manager to get the best out of. That's why they're paid the big money. And just you think about it, and I can think about people that I looked at and thought, who is this guy? I don't believe in what he's saying. He's an arsehole. He don't know what he's talking about. I don't know why he's in the job he's in because he's not good. And others where you think, this guy's a brilliant guy. He makes me feel like, I'm important. He makes me feel valued. He knows what he's doing. I can learn off him. How that affects you and put it into a football player, and that's what it is. We can all take pride in our work. We can all do the best, but to really pull out more than you think you have inside, right, out of you, that takes a good leader. To take that extra bit of, we all look at it and go, I think that I've done this job to the best of my ability. I'm proud of my work. And they go, do you know what? I think you're capable of more than that. I think that you could do more. And this is how, and then you start believing in yourself and you start to feel like you can do anything because of what that leader has done. And that's what good managers do with football players. And you can ask proper top players, and that's what it is. And I don't think it's a difference between running through brick walls or doing the bare minimum. There's a middle ground. And I just think Moyes just doesn't seem to be that sort of bloke. I feel like if I work for him, he doesn't seem like the sort to really motivate you, get your blood pumping, feel like you can do anything, that type of thing. And I think that's what the difference is. But speaking of that,
and we'll leave that there and move on.
Yeah,
we're not going to agree.
We're not going to agree. We'll agree to disagree. So listen, if anyone wants to hire Graham, he sounds like it'd be a great employee. Any
pride in my work, not the manager.
He has a lot of pride. He's the proudest man. He's going to go on a pride march, because he's ever so proud. But yeah, let's get this. A lot of questions about a lot of questions about the Linekar stuff. I was like, oh God, I don't want to talk about this, but we'll touch on it, I guess. But Jose rumours. Let me get to Harry Page. Boys, fancy Ings to score against Villa. 1 super chat. Thank you very much, Harry.
You.
That would be nice, isn't it? That would be.
I think he
No,
will.
only our ex-players ever score against us.
I was about to say that. I never feel like when we sign a player off a club that they come back straight away and score against them. I never feel like
The best
that.
one I remember was John Hartson against Arsenal in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And the chicken run just stormed onto the pitch.
I think Ings will score tomorrow because he'll want to get one over Villa, just because of the way that they've let him go, and some of the Villa fans were going, "Hey, he weren't good enough," even though I still think he's their top goal scorer. So he'll be up for it. He'll want to prove them wrong.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. So Jose rumours. A lot of people asked about that. Now, there was a rumour basically that West Ham sent Jose Mourinho a very flattering offer. I don't know how true it is, but it sparked a lot of debate through West Ham fans over would they or wouldn't they. Oh, Graham, looking miserable. Where's your pride there, eh? Where's your pride? Look at him.
You're not inspiring me, man. You're not inspiring me.
Come on, Graham, you can do it. Give us your best opinion on Jose. What do you think about that, mate?
I'll be honest, I can't see it myself. He normally goes to the top clubs with all the money. I can't see him wanting to come and manage us and sort of being hamstrung by the board. He certainly wouldn't put up with the board trying to tell him who to sign. I know that for sure.
Is that not what we need? This is the thing. You sit there and say, I can't see him coming to us.
But I very much doubt the board will give him the money that he wanted.
Yeah, but the thing is, he went to Roma. Roma are no better off than what we are. Apart from they've got a Europa Conference League title, which hopefully we'll have by the end of the season.
It was their first trophy in a long time for Roma. I think
the problem with Jose is someone said it in the comments there. Jose is just a rich man's Moyes, but Jose understands winning. Jose understands the importance of winning. Jose understands the importance of having a trophy in that team photo at the start of the season. Is he the right person for the club? I don't know. But if he brings a winning mentality,
the thing is, every club he's been at normally has a good first 3 seasons, and then he falls out with a board, or
But Gray, I'll take that 2 seasons and win and a couple of trophies all day long.
Yeah,
that's it. And the one thing,
you're going to win trophies. There's no guarantee.
No, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantees at all. But the one thing he will guarantee is he won't get you relegated because he won't want that on his CV. Let's be honest. He probably would have won Spurs a bloody trophy if they didn't sack him the week before the cup final.
For a final and bad Ryan Mason.
Yeah. And this is the thing. This is the thing with this Conference League. It's a fucking trophy. We ain't seen a trophy since a proper trophy since 1980. Yeah. So let's win a bloody trophy.
Yeah, and the thing is with Mourinho is I look at it and I think one of my problems with Moyes is the style of football. Yeah, style of football, but which is what you probably get with Mourinho. I don't think it'd be as sort of cautious, as bad as what we're dealing with now, but it's still not attacking football. But like you said, he has a better track record of success. Also, as a manager, think of the players that he can attract to the club. Just on who he is, and think of the players that we've got. Is they're coming in and they're looking and going, "Oh wow, like that's Mourinho." You know what I mean? He instantly commands respect of who he is. You know what I mean? You're coming in and you're talking to the Paquetas and the Skamackas, and you want them to go, "Wow, okay, this guy is a top level manager. I'm going to listen to him," and then bringing in other top names. So there is that. It's a risk. He is, like you said, he's a bit.
There's a fanfare around him.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It would bring a lot of eyeballs to the club, and I think that's the thing is where he has imploded before, and things maybe go wrong at the end of the other clubs. I don't think it would be quite the same way. He could fall out, but at the same time, I think there's a chance of if he left, he could leave us in a better place than where he found us, because he's not going to a club that's up there and he has to keep them up there or needs to take them from fourth to first. He's trying to take us from where we are now to, at the bottom of the table, take us back up to European places. We're not asking him to win the league. His expectations at West Ham are a lot lower than they were at Chelsea and Man United.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can win a Europa League with us, a Carabao as well, and get us in Europe, that's what he needs to do. And he's a very clever manager. So I would, as much as I want to see us play better football next season, I'd be willing to sacrifice that for the chance to see what Jose Mourinho could do with this club. And I think you make a valid point, Gray, with Sullivan, and that very tricky in terms that we still don't know what's happening with the ownership next season. So yeah, we'll see. Again, it's probably not going to happen, but yeah, there's a big part of me that could you imagine Jose Mourinho like in a West Ham tracksuit or a West Ham, and things like that. It'd be, not them ropey ones they sell in the club shop, but proper one. Me and Nicky was in there the other week, some right old tat in there.
The difference is as well, Mourinho's not a manager that's past it, like Pellegrini was. He was past his best when he come to us. And, Mourinho's not. Mourinho's still got something about him. There's still a spark about Mourinho. So it could suit. It could suit.
Yeah, that's it. They'd have to back him, and you can't not back a man. If they back fucking David Moyes but don't back Mourinho, we might as well fold.
Yeah.
Should we quickly touch on this bloody Linekar thing? So, oh Jesus! Honestly, I looked at it. Everyone was talking about it. I really thought I don't care. But Linekar has been he's stepped aside or been taken off of Match of the Day for now, because until he apologizes for doing a tweet that inferred that the government are, Nazis, basically. That's what it was. He sort of put that tweet out. He said he stands by the tweet, won't apologize for it. So they've said, right, until you do self-ever notice, we're taking you, off the show. Now this has got a big thing where Ian Wright said, because he's not on it, I'm not going to be on it. Shearer said he's not going to be on it. Bloody people that weren't even supposed to be on it said, well, I won't be on it. And now they've got no one to be on it. And it's great. Listen, I said on Twitter, I haven't watched Match of the Day in years, right? Even when we had that good season, even when we beat Liverpool, I didn't watch Match of the Day because I don't give a shit about West Ham. They focus on how crap the team that we beat are, whether it's the Liverpool and Man United. They go, and I'll never forget this, Linekar, right? We beat, I think it was either Liverpool or Chelsea. They spoke so long about how bad Liverpool were. And they went, and what about West Ham? Were good, weren't they? And then moving on, that was it. That's all the analysis we got. And I thought, fuck you. And then I never watched it again.
I've watched Match of the Day for years. I don't watch it.
Yeah, it's a load of shit. Honestly, it's the same. All they care about is the same 6 teams, and we're all just the supporting cast, and that's what it is.
Yeah, but that's only Sky. That's BT.
The thing with Lineker, right, is that Lineker is a lot like Gary Neville. They think their opinion matters when it comes to politics, and it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit what you think. You're an ex-footballer who does punditry. The BBC's a pile of crap anyway. I've said this for a long period of time. Like yous, I don't watch Match of the Day. The one thing of having no punditry on Match of the Day, you might actually get to watch a bit of football and not have to hear them drone on about Liverpool, Manchester United, and
I'll be honest, I don't really watch anything on the BBC anymore.
Yeah, that's all it ever is about. That's all it's ever been about. So, sort of, Gary Lineker, keep your mouth shut about politics, mate. Stick to football. And that's all it matters. Look, we've said it. We said it before we come on here. Freedom of speech. Everyone's got their opinions. Everyone's got a right to say what they want. If you don't like it, either don't listen to it or punch someone in the face. You know, Mike Tyson come up and said it perfectly. Too many people got too comfortable not getting punched in the face when they upset someone. Right? And that's the thing. Everyone has different opinions, but there's certain things people should keep their opinions to themselves when they're in the limelight that they're in. As I said, Lineker's not a politician, so don't comment on political stuff. Talk about football. That's your job. That's what you're paid to do. Stick to football.
Well, the thing is, I was going to say the problem I think with that is you're using it on a platform. Well, one, you haven't got that the knowledge and the ability to talk about something in a in a more deep way. But Twitter's definitely not the platform for it. And and this is the thing. There's probably a lot of things like me and Lineker would agree on. But the problem is he's such a condescending and arrogant wanker, that I can't stomach him. Whether he's saying things that are in line with my beliefs or not, it's the way he does it. And honestly, I can't stand him. And I think everyone's taking a stand for Lineker. Good for you. But, the guy's going to be all right. He's a multi-millionaire at the end of the day. And there are bigger world issues going on than... Oh, poor old Gary Lineker, he's so hard done by the BBC. At the end of the day, I think the BBC, for what they're doing, are hypocrites because there's other people that they probably should have. Alan Sugar, that's another wanker, that they've just let run riot. So they're hypocrites. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose any sleep over Lineker. I think he's programmed shit. And I think he's just, like I said, arrogant, smug, and condescending.
The thing is, Dan, as well, if you work for an organisation that claim to be impartial but clearly aren't, that's the problem as well. They're supposed to be impartial and they're anything but.
Yeah, it's funny though, like you said, Scott, as well. Like, or Gray, it was we might actually get to focus on the football because everyone's saying, "Oh, they ain't going to be able to show Match of the Day because they can't get any hosts." Just show the fucking games.
Exactly.
And don't have the bits in between.
Oh, you need one presenter just to introduce the games. Maybe talk to camera for a minute or two after each game, like Brian Moore used to do.
Yeah, anyone, the commentator, whoever they get just a voiceover. And now it's West Ham versus Aston Villa. Yeah. Now it's Everton versus Brentford. And this is what happened at Goodison. And then they go in and you just see the highlights. That's the set. Imagine if they didn't have the highlights and they just had the presenters talking about it.
And that's the thing. You'll probably get to see more football.
Yeah. Add that. Make the highlights extended, longer. Make the game highlights longer. Don't have any of the talking shit, and then see how it does. I might rather watch it. It's the fact that I haven't watched it is just because it infuriates me how little consideration other teams get. And that's why I don't watch it, because I think it's bollocks. But if it's just highlights, I might go, "Ooh, let me see what the other games are saying." And I just think like that. And I think, I think no one should be restricted to say, you politics, you can never talk about it. But I think if it's not your expertise, then you need to approach it in a way that is a little bit more nuanced and a little bit less know-it-all-y, right? And like I said, whether with Lineker, he's one of them people that I look at and I think, wow, you have them people you think, wow, we probably align politically, but we're so far apart in approaches that I just have absolute disdain for you, even though you're saying things that I would agree with if you didn't put it away in a way that's such a wankerish way. Yeah. That's the problem.
And that's it. Then you've all got everyone's got their opinions, but as I said, you can have an opinion on a subject, but when you're in a position that they're in, don't try and force your opinion across on people. Look, there's loads of people who agree with what Lineker said, but at the end of the day, you can't. He's in a position where he shouldn't be spouting about political issues. He's not a politician.
Yeah.
And especially saying what he said. As I said to you, saying what he said, he offended a lot of people about that.
Yeah. I think you could say it in a way that's, I think this is hard. I disagree with it, but he's in this Twitter, right? It's this Twitter mindset of I've got to get the most likes. I've got to say things that are going to get a lot of likes and retweets.
Exactly.
I can't just put my opinion across as plainly. I need to make this extreme. I need to take things to the extreme. And that's the problem for me. The sentiment, you can just say it. Look, I don't think this is the right policy, blah, blah, blah. And I would agree with it and things like that at the end of the day.
The thing that annoys me now, Dan, is there's no debate anymore. Everyone has different opinions, right? No, not everyone's going to agree on everything, right? So everyone has different opinions.
Great, sorry, mate. Just before you go any further, right? You know why? Stuff like that, because as soon as I said what I said, Scott's a Tory.
Where's that one?
Yeah. The problem is
the thing. So there's no. Yeah. You can debate that and say someone's wrong. Straight away, you say someone's wrong.
Name calling. Everyone has to label someone as, or you're right wing, or you're left wing, or you're fascist. No, there's no debate anymore. Everyone just all of a sudden resorts to name calling and
the problem is politics has become very tribal, like football. It's like, okay, these are all the opinions that on the left should have. These are all the opinions on the right should have. If you disagree with any of these, you're a Tory. If you disagree with any of this, you're a lefty. And that's the problem. There's nothing where you can go, well, I pretty much mostly align with that, but that's not, I don't think that's right to me. But okay, well, there's a good point there, but I'm going to vote left. It's
middle of the road.
You have to be this side for everything. You have to agree with all of that, and it's just too tribal now. Like, you're either on our side, you either agree with this with everything on the right, or you're a lefty, loony lefty, or you either agree with everything like this, or you're a Nazi. That's why I can't stand it, and I try not to. There's so many things that I look at and like, Linekar, I'm passionate about, and you have a sense of justice, and this should, but I avoid putting these things on Twitter. It's not the platform.
Exactly.
It's just not. I don't want to be this person that's on a soapbox that's pointing fingers at people, and I'm trying to tell people, in 140 characters or 280, however many it is, 240, this is it. In short words, you don't agree with this, you're this and that. I don't want to be a part of that, and I try to avoid it unless there's things that, you look at. And it's mostly stuff I look at, where I look at and I think, maybe, if you share this, or I retweet things that's, this poor person's lost their job, and retweet it and see if you can do some good. What good is it? What good are you doing there? So, I think that's it. So I didn't want to talk about it. You got me into it, and it's just, again, it's madness. But
we as we know, we avoid politics, we avoid religion. We only touched on it because it is slightly football related, because it's Gary Lineker, and it is what it is.
The only tribe I want to be part of is the tribe of West Ham.
Yeah,
that's the tribe where I will fucking ride or die, fight to the death. Well, not literally, but for my side, right? And if you're not West Ham, then piss off. When it comes to that, anything else. And I say that, I know obviously we have West Ham fans that don't watch us. I don't mean it like that, but it's just things like that. Do you know what I mean? I just think Twitter now, everyone's a political expert. Everyone's an expert on this and an expert on that. Everyone. And just fucking chill the fuck out, like, honestly.
Jim Carroll said there, Saturday's match day will go ahead without punditry and studio presentation. So that's it. So basically, it's going to be about football.
It's going to be watchable, and it's funny, like, it's going to be actually watchable. And I know, like, I might actually watch it. And
I won't be watching it, Dan. I won't be watching it. As I said, the only time BBC gets turned on in my house by me is when England are playing and I have no other choice to watch it, or the West Ham are playing and I have no other choice to watch it. Other than that, the BBC don't get turned on in this house by me anyway.
Yeah, no, listen, I might give it a watch. And this is again, that's the thing, because of the landscape is people look at me because again, they've decided that if you watch it, then if you watch BBC after Lineker's been suspended, you're a Tory. And it's, which couldn't be more further from the truth that people actually know me. But again, I'm not drawn into that. I don't have to subscribe and follow all of these rules. Yeah. I don't give a shit about Gary Lineker. I really don't, honestly.
What we're saying is everyone has opinions. No one's going to agree on everything.
Yeah.
But instead of name calling, let's discuss things. A friendly debate.
That's how it goes. I'm someone, and this has always been my mindset. I'm someone you would consider on the left. But I will have friends and I will conversate with people that are on the right, and I will show them respect and try and talk to them and understand. That's how you progress in life, not by shutting everyone up and pointing and going, "You're cancelled. I don't believe in what." It's talking to each other and being able to still be friends and go, do you know what? You voted for the blue side, I voted for the red side, but we have a pint. It don't matter. Okay, we're not going to agree on things. Fucking hell, football, we agree on that. There's loads of people, family.
As I said, mate, everyone has a different opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. It's no different. As when you see a TV program that you sit there and think, oh, I ain't going to watch that. What do?
Turn it over.
Pick up the remote, turn it over. Thank you very much. I'm not watching it. But too many people will then go, oh, I'm going to complain about that. I'm going to go on Twitter and say this and no, turn it off. Don't watch it. End of.
Yeah. Thing is, there's nothing worth watching on BBC, really. I end up most watching Netflix and things like that now. That's where it's all at. EastEnders is a load of crap nowadays. There's nothing really good on it.
Don't let Ryan hear you say that.
But I think Ryan,
you might want to cut
Ryan's like a lot of us.
You want to cut that bit?
No, but the thing is, I think Ryan will probably agree because a lot of people watch it just out of habit. It's been, a lot of people have been watching it, like me, since the 90s, some since the 80s, and it's just a habit of it's Tuesday, EastEnders is on, Monday, EastEnders is on. I only know what's good. My missus watches it, and I'm just like, oh my God, what load of old shit. Like when you've got stuff like Game of Thrones and fucking, all of these big series that are up, all these amazing big series that you have high budget stuff with good stories, and you're watching like, Sharon's having an affair with the bloke up the road again, and who gives a shit? Like, honestly, like, why do we still? I said to her, like, we watch really Mandalorian and stuff like that, all these really great, interesting stories, and it's like, and then you go back and watch, fucking so-and-so sleeping with that person. Oh, well, this one's fucking tumble dry is broke, or really inane, boring stuff. I don't know why I'm ranting about it. How do I get onto this? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even watch it.
You've led us down a dark path here.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to talk about BBC and Linekar. I didn't want to talk about it. Now I'm ranting about...
What's bring up for?
I'm ranting about EastEnders. Yeah, so just lastly, who did we play? Larnaca. We won, positive. 2-0, clean sheet, positive.
We won without being spectacular, but we won.
You're not worried that we weren't spectacular against Larnaca, Gray?
No. What's that?
Not worried that we weren't spectacular. We weren't good against Larnaca.
To be honest, I thought we had the feel of a pre-season friendly about it, really. And then once we went 2-0, I think if Antonio buried that one that hit the post, it was done and dusted. But my only worry was sort of last 10, 15 minutes, we started dropping deeper and deeper, and they had 3 or 4 decent chances that better teams would have put away.
Most of the game, even the first half, I was looking at him thinking that was like, if you look at the positions that they got in and the sort of chance they had was a lot better than ours. The final ball for them was just abysmal. The lack of quality up top really done us a favour.
Yeah. I'd like to say, but a better side, and that's no disrespect to Larnaca, but better sides than them. Like if we get a Villarreal or a Fiorentina, they would have buried 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, but I think we would have changed the way we approach the game. I think there was a comment really a lot earlier in the show that someone turned around and said, "We done exactly what we needed to do." You know, we saw the game out. We didn't want to overexert ourselves. We got the job
It was
done.
all about game management. It was
Yeah,
about, but I was just a little concerned at how many chances we given the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, of course. And like you said, if you give them chances to Villa on Sunday, Villa are going to take them chances. You know, that's the thing. But it was about getting through the game, trying not to pick up any more injuries, which, you know, possibly we may have ended up picking up too. But you're looking at, you know, we got the job done. The third goal would have been the icing on the cake, let's be honest, because it would have killed the second leg off. Now
we needed that.
I suppose a plus side for us who are going to the game, there's still something within that game for Larnaca to play for. So it means we've got to go a bit stronger. I think at 3-0, I think you would have saw a very Zagreb lineup with a lot of youngsters. Do you know what I mean? But I think now we've still got to go a bit strong, at least for the first half. If we can get an early goal, the game would be done and dusted by half time.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, big positive. I thought Antonio, regardless of the opposition, he took his goals very well. For the ball in from Ben Rama was quality. He put it on a plate, but it weren't. Antonio could have just headed it straight at the keeper, but he didn't. He put it behind him in the far corner, which I thought was class. That was impressive. And then he goes and scores from outside the box.
I mean, when you see that from behind the goal, it just looks even better.
Yeah,
but the way he sort of used the defender as the shield and
that's what I was wondering, because I want to see what you guys think. Because when I was watching it on the watch along, I was like, he's curled. It looked like he curled it round the defender in. People were telling me it come off the defender's back.
No, it didn't.
Because I was thinking the physics of that. Surely it would deflect and bounce away. But
he used the defender to
block the vision of the
keeper, to sort of keep the keeper unsighted, and then he just whipped it around the outside. And
the thing is, he was unlucky. You know, he was really unlucky not to get the perfect hat trick. Right foot, header, right foot, left foot. You know, it's the inside of the post, and then comes back out and goes along the line and off for a goal kick. And you know, I criticise Antonio a lot, and I'm not one of his biggest fans, but you know, he deserved that third goal yesterday, I thought, for the way he played that last night.
Yeah, big. I really wanted to see. See him get that hat trick, and now he's our top goal scorer in all competitions in the Premier League era. So before he was our top Premier League goal scorer, but now it includes cup games as well. So he's overtaken Colton Cole. I think it was on 68, and I think Antonio's on 70 after that game now. Goals in all competitions for West Ham.
He's our highest goal scorer in the last decade, I think it works out as well. So, you know, and
he's had a great career at the club.
Exactly.
Like I said, whatever we think of him, and this is just happens towards the ends of players' careers, is they're not going to be as good as they were. So you're going to be more critical about their performances. It takes nothing away from the career he's had at the club.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's one of those. But
he scores goals. Mate. West Ham win. If he scores 2 goals in every game till the end of the season, so be it. You know, it means we're gonna be safe from relegation and have a trophy for next season. So I'll take it all day long.
One thing.
Goals.
Do you know what? It's this BBC. He says has got me in a ranty mood though. One thing that annoyed me because Scamacca come on, and you know, look, he didn't put up any trees when he come on at all. But the reaction on Twitter, the people that was slating him, and Dom was one of them. I have to say, I added him. I replied to him. I'm like, "Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?" You know, sort of complaining about Scamacca. Oh, he wasn't very good. Maybe he should go in the summer. You know, he's no effort, no this. It's like it's his first game back from a long-term injury. He's coming into a game that's pretty much dead and buried, and the players have completely, you know, taken their foot off the pedal completely. You know, we're at that point of the game. We've taken off Ben Rama, who is our most creative player, bringing Scamacca on for fitness and minutes. That's the key. And people are slating Scamacca. Like, what is wrong with this fan base? Why is it?
I think with Scamacca, mate, I think when he come on, I think the players were trying to think if they could have a cheeky night out in Iron Napa before they went home. At that point, it was one of them. Look, you can't read too much into his performance. I know he was barging into defenders, and I saw what Dom put, and there is some justification in what Dom said in his tweet. But like you said, he has just come back from a long-term injury. He needs minutes under his belt. If he had started the game and performed like that, then you've got justification to sort of really lay into him. But like you said, he come on at a time when the team wasn't particularly playing well. And he didn't do much, but nor did anyone else in that second half.
It's a different thing when you're starting the game. I feel, Scott, like you've got as the manager setting up the team with that striker in mind as well to go, okay, here's how we're going to get you chances. We're going to set this team up together. When you're making subs, a lot of the time, it's not with a priority of, okay, this is how we're going to play to Scamacca's strengths. This is how we're going to get the best. You're bringing in, you need to bring players off. You need to bring them on to get minutes. So it would have been different. And to me, Scamacca seems like a player that's one of the players that's better starting than he is a sub. Like he seems like a player that's going to warm up into the game. And remember Zarate. Zarate was exactly the same. I'm not saying they're similar players, but Zarate was always better when he started. And when he came on as a sub, he was like terrible. It was almost like night and day. And some players are just like that. And I think he's one of them players. So I think it's just a positive that he got some fitness there. And I don't know why people are so quick to write off players. Like he's coming in to a new league. No, he's young. He's playing in a team that's playing defensive football, not set up to his strengths. He's had injury problems. It's his first game back in a game, again, that's dead and buried that the players didn't have any motivation for. And we're sitting there and we're digging him out. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I've got a sort of positive thing because what I saw is, talking about Cornet. Have to say about Cornet because someone who has been injured and
very lively when he come on.
Very lively, and the pace, you just saw that and you were like, wow, this is what we've been missing in this team. That pace and that energy. And the ball we put through Paqueta, on a plate, and this is like the third 1v1 I've seen this, Antonio, Jared Bowen, now Paqueta. And I just think the keeper was well off his line. And I think if he shoots early, he has a chance to score. And I think he just leaves it a bit too much, a bit too long.
He just slowed down, just allowed the defender to get back and get a challenge in as well.
Apparently, what happened was he felt, according to Moyes, he felt his calf when he did that run.
But
so
he didn't run at full pace. But if you watch it, the last touch he takes before he hits his shot.
Takes him away
a heavy touch, and he takes it away too wide, and that's why and he missed it. And the thing is, he's got to be critical because a player of his quality should score that. We can't sit here and slag off Antonio for missing the one-on-ones that he missed against United, and let Paqueta get away with it. The only reason Paqueta gets away with it is it wasn't that important.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. A player of his quality should score that.
Yeah,
there's no reason.
If he has felt his calf, he has got injured in the result of that run. You give him a tiny, I'm not letting him off completely.
But feeling your calf don't take away that poor touch.
No, don't take away the touch. But at the same time, even with the touch, he has a chance to score it. And I think maybe what he might look to do is, if he doesn't feel the calf, maybe try and take it around the keeper and hold it up or something, rather. There was no way he was scoring that. It was, again, straight at the keeper, easy save.
That's it.
But, like I said, with one, we take it. I mean, look, they might come back. It might be like a cup final because it's probably going to be the biggest game of their career, their existence, coming to our ground.
And that's what I said. It keeps sank in the game at 2-0.
Yeah, that's it. Moyes was quite critical of the performance, actually, funny enough. It's always funny when like people like me, and if I slate a performance, I'm negative, right, from these certain fans. But Moyes can slate performances all day long, and his fans don't say anything. And he weren't happy with it.
It wasn't the greatest performance, but it was a performance that got the job done. That's the difference.
Yes. So yeah. But Villa Sunday, we'll all be there, won't we?
Yeah, we're all there.
We're all there. We're all going to be there. Big game. The next biggest game of the season. There, every game now.
Every game's a big game, man. Every game now.
Now the big match preview really has earned its name. The name is right. You know, real.
We'll be filming that, Dan, straight after this.
Yeah, we got to go and film actually the big match preview. So yeah, we'll go and do that. So yeah, listen, it was a longer one. There was no fan cams or real content after the game apart from me and Nikki. So we gave you a bit of extended edition to make up for the lack of content after the Larnaca game. It was a whirlwind show. We had heated debates, rants and laughs and almost tears. But it's been a great show, lads. Thank you very much for being part of it with me.
Cheers, mate.
Great contribution.
And a pleasure, Dan, as always.
Yeah.
Just a little tiff. That's all we had. Little tiff. We kiss and make up. We kiss and make up.
I'm proud of that tiff.
We never fall out. We never fall out, Dan.
I have a lot of pride in that tiff, Gray.
We have debates, Dan. We have debates.
We have mass debates.
Listen, that's what we can do. Great show, boys.
Always yes, very, very enjoyable.
And thanks everyone in the chat because you guys have been very involved tonight.
Yeah.
And
thanks everybody.
Honestly, we can't. Yeah, like we can't read every comment or anything like that because there's just so many, and this show would be 20 hours long. But we do look at the chat, and a lot of the time they make me laugh, they make me smile, and things like that. Things that we see and we don't, get to read out because we haven't got time. And it's great how you interact with each other as well. Every single person in this chat helps make this show what it is. So yeah, we appreciate a lot of you. So yes, look, the weekend, like I said, look out for big match preview. Obviously, we're going to be there on the day. Fan cams. There will be a watch along with Jace and Damo. So look out for all of that stuff. It's going to be crazy. We're all either going to be happy hammers or infuriated hammers.
Mm-hmm.
See. So thank you for joining us. One thing left to say. Come on.